Streaming from Oklahoma's own digital studio, this is OU Football Update, brought to you by Brahms.
All right, hi everybody. Welcome to our late week edition of a Sooner Pod here on Oklahoma's own Sports. Toby Rowland back with you. It is OU Tennessee week. We are getting set to head to Knoxville for, once again, what feels like the biggest game in college football this week. And it is my great pleasure to welcome in this week to preview the game, my radio partner of over a decade now, the Butkus and Bednarik Award winner, the great Teddy Lehman. What's up, Ted?
I'm looking forward to this. I mean, last time we went, it was a lifetime experience, one we still talk about. So hopefully we have something similar. I know everyone remembers it so fondly. Winning the game is a very important part of that.
Yeah, you rarely remember road trips well if you came away with a loss. So let's start there. By the way, if you enjoy these 3-time-a-week episodes, please like and subscribe. As Ted well knows, it means a lot to us. So maybe you haven't. It doesn't cost you anything, by the way. Just click subscribe. It helps us out a ton. What are your memories of that 2015 trip and 2015 game?
It was, just the setting. Knoxville on the river, the whole campus kind of sits on that hill. It's like in a valley. It's really cool. The stadium, obviously, it's not much to look at from the outside, but when there's 100,000 on the inside, it is incredible. They have a lot of tradition, and there's a lot of build up to the game beforehand and all the things they do. And I guess now it's even better with the light show, and I think they light up the tee, and there's a lot of stuff surrounding it that's really cool. It's going to be different. I love the traditional uniform games. But they're wearing the black, which I think is going to be really cool, and it's going to add to the environment. So really the thing I remember most was how loud that crowd was, how intense the game was. And I know we were in the Big 12, but we played an SEC game, at least for, regulation. Low scoring, yards and points were very difficult to come by. And, it wasn't pretty, but we came out of there with the win, and there was kind of a lot of anxiety around the program at that time, and you could feel the tension release a little bit in the tunnel and in the locker room after the game.
The birth of the Baker Mayfield era
That's
that
right.
night. One of the coolest things had nothing to do with the game. That was a night game as well, and so we got to experience Knoxville all Saturday long, and we'll get to do that again for this. So I'm excited about that. There's Friday night and Saturday down on the river, the Vol Navy. There were 2 or 3, or if I remember correctly last time, and I'm sure it'll be this time too, 2 or 3 boats with OU flags on them, and they invited us out to hang out with them for a little while. And the scene is really, when you include the Tennessee River and the boats and everything, it's one of the coolest scenes, game aside, that I've ever experienced on a game day. And then the game was just obviously an absolute classic. So, yeah.
And I'm sure
crossed.
that, at that time, Tennessee they did not have it going. So there was a lot of build up to that game for their fan base, because this is like, hey, if we can get this win, maybe we're back. Well, they got it rolling right now. So I imagine that, that's going to even add to the environment a little bit more. That's a cocky, and rightfully so, cocky fan base right now.
Let's talk some personnel. Nobody watches more game film throughout the week than you do on Tennessee. What do you think about their offense? Joey Aguilar, Chris Brazzell, maybe the best offense in the SEC. I don't know. You tell me. What do you think about them personnel-wise?
I think they're really good. I think it all starts with the offensive line. Incredibly solid. The run game, they're really good. They got a couple of backs. We'll get to that, but the offensive line, they're physical. They come off the ball hard. They run a lot of the gap scheme, the counter and power plays, and I think that's their real bread and butter. And the zone stuff, they're good in the zone. I think that maybe some of our twist games and stuff up front can give them some trouble in the zone stuff. But they love to run the ball. Heupel, as we saw last year, totally content with running the football. He'll run it 50 times in a game. He doesn't care. I know they air it out and they do a really good job of that, but he does a fantastic job coaching to win the football game. So stopping the run is going to be critical. A couple of really good backs. Bishop, I think, is the best that they've got, but they got two guys that are really good. They look like SEC backs, right? Strong, powerful builds, fast. They run through tackles. They can push the pile. That's where it all starts. The passing game is incredibly dangerous. Aguilar, who was, an unknown, I think, to everybody, definitely for me, until he kind of got pushed into the forefront in the spring with all of that drama, and he's been great for him. Throws a great deep ball. I think he's the fourth leading passer in the country right now, and a lot of that comes with just deep shots over and over. They're going to test you deep, and they've got some really good wide receivers that they'll throw the ball to. Brazel, I think, is probably the most dangerous matchup for us because of the size, 6'5". He can fly, really dangerous down. He does all his work down the sideline. And like I said, the deep ball that Aguilar throws is perfect for him because he'll trust him to go up and make a play over a guy. And, as we've seen ourselves defensively, when you push it down the field like that, maybe you complete it. It's a pretty risk-free play. There's not a lot of interceptions on those plays, but that pass interference call is critical, and that's been a problem for us. So they're going to test us. Maybe it's 5 times, maybe it's 10 times, and if they're having success, maybe it's 20 times. They're going to throw the ball deep. And then, there's 3 guys that can start pretty much anywhere in the country at wide receiver, solid at tight end. Aguilar at quarterback, I think, is interesting, and as dangerous as he is, when I say this, I don't want it to be taken as a slight to him at all, because it's not. But stylistically, I like the matchup with our defense because we've had problems with guys that get outside the pocket and create. You look what Arch Manning did to us. Even though it was just a handful of plays, a lot of that was him scrambling, picking up first downs, quarterback run to pick up first downs, getting outside the pocket and pushing the ball down the field. Same thing with Sellers. Same thing with Chambliss at Ole Miss. Those guys give everyone trouble. You're not going to see that from Aguilar. He's athletic. Every quarterback in this day and age is going to be athletic and can pull the ball down and go pick up a first down here and there on you. But they're not a quarterback run team. He's not a guy that scrambles around and works the scramble drill really well. He wants to catch the ball and get it out. He knows where he's going with the football, and he can sort through zone coverage and go through reads and find the open guy, but I don't think that's his strength. His strength is ripping deep balls, ripping dig routes in the middle of the field. When he's catching the ball, he wants to go to that first look. So I like that matchup. I think Venables is as good as anyone at putting us in a call to play the play. We do a great job at that. Now, after you play the play and things break down, everyone's going to struggle with that, right? You're playing backyard football, but you don't get a whole lot of that from them.
What is the most important thing for the OU defense, considering what type of offense they run?
Forcing them to go the field on us and not give them the explosive play. You look at all the metrics, and outside of a handful of times, people have a very difficult time methodically marching the ball down the field on us. I know Texas did it, and I know Ole Miss had a couple of those drives, but that's typically very difficult for teams to do without making a mistake, without taking a sack or a big tackle for loss in the run game. That's where we thrive. The Tennessee is going to feed off the explosive play, whether it's creasing us in a run, making a safety miss, and then getting out to the races, or pushing the ball down the field in the deep ball game. That's the most dangerous thing, and that's what I worry about with us.
All right, let's talk about the other side of the ball, but before we do, a quick word from our friends at Brahms.
It's time to enjoy the sweet taste of Brahms Strawberry Shortcake Sundae. Our creamy vanilla ice cream is nestled on top of Brahms fresh-baked golden bundt cakes, with spoonfuls of delicious strawberry topping all around, complete with fluffy whipped cream and a cherry to create the perfect flavor combination. Strawberry goodness is waiting for you at Brahms.
What's your go-to at Brahms, Ted?
Don't make fun of me.
Milkshake? Vanilla ice cream cone?
Vanilla milkshake.
Vanilla milkshake?
Yeah.
That's why we love you, Ted. Okay, other side of the ball. When Oklahoma's got the ball, John Mateer has struggled. The offense in general has struggled the last few weeks. How do they match up against Tennessee's defense in your mind?
I think they match up well. I mean, I think there's going to be stuff there to be had in both the run game and the passing game. The strength of their defense is their defensive line. They're big, they're physical, they're experienced. I would say that they're fairly deep there. They can rotate. Like Ole Miss didn't have a lot of depth, but the first two guys they had were great. Tennessee's a little bit deeper. Maybe not as good as Ole Miss's two big guys that they had, but with the depth, I think they make up for that. The further you get away from the football, I think the quality starts to diminish quite a bit. Backers are fairly solid. They play fast. They play physical. They attack the run. I don't think they're great in zone drops. Safety's been a problem for them. They're not overly athletic there. I don't think they tackle well at safety. And corner, they're just beat up. You know, they've had a couple of big corners go down, and, you know, we know that corner it's rare that you roll 4, 5, and 6 deep at quality at corner, and Tennessee's caught up in that a little bit. So I think that there's going to be plenty of opportunity in the passing game, both pushing the ball down the field, and I really like the short stuff. Get Satania, get Burks the ball underneath, and let them go. I think everyone at this point has seen the missed tackle numbers and yards after catch. Was it like 1,100 yards, I think, after first contact or something with Tennessee's defense? So I think that's a big advantage for us, both in I think there's yards to be had there, and I think it's fair to say that Mateer has struggled a little bit lately, and getting him a bunch of quick, easy completions to get him in rhythm, I think, would help his confidence.
What do you think's going on with him? I mean, obviously he had surgery a month ago, so that's a reasonable explanation, but is it more than that?
I think it's a combination of factors. I think, you know, the injury and the missed time, I think, is a factor. I think that the weight of the position and losing at Texas and all the eyeballs and all the criticism that comes with that spot, it's a big deal. You know, it's Washington State, not to discredit anything he did out there, but you just don't have the spotlight. And I think there's been a little bit of a shock with what all comes with this position when you don't play great. You know, and I think that he's just going to have to absorb that, put it to the side, and go out there and just sell out. I think that because of the weight of not playing well, it looks to me like he's playing not to make a mistake, so everything's a little slower. He's indecisive with the football. When he first got on campus and early in the season, you know, the first thing I saw from him in spring ball and the first thing I said about him was, I like how decisive he is and I like how quick he is to get the ball out of his hand. And that's what I saw early in the season. That's really slowed down. Like he's popping the ball. He's unsure of where to go with it. You know, some of that may be the problems we've had at offensive line a little bit has given him some happy feet, but you're going to have to trust it, trust your teammates, and and be decisive and quick with the ball and just cut it loose. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to throw an interception. You're going to, overthrow a player. You have one of maybe the best defense in the country. They got your back. Don't worry about it. Just go play like you can play.
Last question. We'll get you out of here, Ted. What's the importance of this game, and what would a win mean, do you feel like, for the team, program, everything on Saturday?
Well, first and foremost, I think a win headed into a bye week gives you some good momentum, some confidence. I think we've moved some things around. Fogier playing at right tackle, I think, is really promising for the future. So I just think you need to carry that momentum. And listen, I know that we've played poorly in a couple of losses, but I still believe that at our best, this is a playoff caliber football team. And if you win this game, you're still firmly in the fight. Now, maybe there's a path if you lose, but it becomes very unclear. But if you win, you are firmly still in that battle. A road win against a Tennessee team that is kind of in the same position. Like if they were to lose this game, it's going to be difficult for them with 3 losses being able to get into the playoff. They don't have the caliber opponents on the rest of their schedule that we do. So, it kind of is not quite, but it's close to a playoff elimination game.
Yeah, it feels that way. It certainly feels that. It may end up being that way. We'll see. The great Teddy Lehman, he'll be on the call with us. 3:30 pregame show for you on Sooner Radio out in Knoxville. That's Central Time on Saturday. Thanks, Ted, and I can't wait to see you over in Tennessee.
Going to be fun. Let's go get a win.
Thanks for watching this edition of Oklahoma's Own Sports. Please, again, like and subscribe. We'll be back with you on Monday for a recap of the Sooners and the Volunteers. We'll see you then.
Thank you for watching this Oklahoma's Own digital studio stream. Stay with News 9, online and on television anytime for the latest news, weather, and sports.